vehicles and trucks that makes vehicle interior cleanup quick and easy. The AutoVac's powerful suction handles dirt, dust, crumbs, and debris with ease. Even sand and more are no problem
to healthcare.
Right now on Kiro 7 News.
Welcome back to Kiro 7 News at noon. Take a look at this time lapse we took through that morning fog as well as the sunrise. It was beautiful, and then you couldn't see anything out there. But now there are clear skies, and the temperatures will be very warm today. Let's check in with Kiro 7 Pinpoint meteorologist Nick Allard, because Nick, things are going to get turbulent tomorrow. That's why it is a pinpoint alert day.
Absolutely. Tomorrow is a pinpoint alert day. After we get through all the warm weather, the mugginess out there, it's going to stay warm and kind of muggy into tomorrow. And just for a little context, I have you getting to 69 today. Average is 56 and the record 64, and we are at 62. Right now. We're at 62 in Everett, 66 in Bremerton, and about 60 in Olympia, Chehalis, which would have been warmer, but we had a lot of fog there earlier, and we're still working our way through it. You can still see some clouds there in your pinpoint storm tracker. Big picture, what we're going to see is there's an area of lower pressure developing off in the Pacific, and it will circle closer to us and push a front across the area later tomorrow. In fact, really two waves. The first wave will produce some action in the morning west of Puget Sound, but the second one, that's the one that's really going to bring all the trouble. So warm and muggy today. We have that now slight risk for severe storms, and I'll talk more about that in a second, but part of western Washington has a marginal risk, which is as low as it gets, and then we've been upgraded for other parts to a slight risk, which is just above that. At the very least, these storms are going to be stronger than normal with lots of hail, potentially a lot of hail, and some lightning. Now, if you look here, this is from the Storm Prediction Center. This green, that's the marginal risk. The yellow, including Seattle and a lot of western Washington, is the slight risk. So that's 2 out of 5 on this scale right there. So I do think lightning and a lot of it, potentially very strong wind, large hail and a lot of it, rain, and unfortunately there might be some rotation and the potential for maybe some tornadoes. It's a really slim chance, but it does exist. So I want to walk you through this hour by hour so you can see it for yourself, talk about maybe harder hit areas potentially coming up.
Quite the forecast. All right, thanks, Nick. And taking a look at gas prices across our area right now, AAA says the average for a gallon of regular is $4.11 in Washington. In Snohomish County, it'll cost you $4.16. A gallon of regular is about a quarter more expensive in King County. In Pierce County, gas is $4.17. The national average is $3.13. And hold on to your wallets, because gas could get even more expensive. Lawmakers are proposing an increase to the state's gas tax. In just 4 hours, a public hearing will kick off. Kiro 7's Brooke Griffin spoke with drivers who say any increase is too much.
Well, we could see those increases as soon as July, and it might even be as much as 9 more cents on top of what you're already paying at the pump.
Painful. That is how drivers describe getting gas.
Yeah, they seem to be going up. It was, about 30, 40 cents cheaper a couple days ago.
Sometimes it's even like $60 to fill up my full tank.
If the state House bill goes through, Washington residents will see a 9-cent per gallon increase starting in July.
That's a little extreme.
This is the first gas tax increase proposal since 2016.
I feel like that would just eat up all my money, I feel like, and I really don't want that to happen. I want gas prices to stay low.
State lawmakers say the tax would bring in $1.5 billion over the next 6 years, fixing a $1 billion budget shortfall. Some lawmakers want the tax for road projects.
It would mean a pause in final phases of Snoqualmie Pass. It would also mean not starting the Highway 18 project.
While others don't like the financial burden, but understand the need.
You know, my side doesn't like to raise taxes, but, you know, the realities of life are what they are. And in order to make this system work, it takes money.
The Senate is proposing a similar bill with a 6-cent increase. If either pass, that will put Washington with the highest gas tax in the country.
At what point does it just become unbearable?
I think it already is.
And again, those potential increases could start as soon as this summer. There is a public hearing at the Capitol today, and then on Thursday, they might take a vote. In Tacoma, Brooke Griffin, Kiro 7 News.
We will keep you posted. The state is trying to find ways to cut the deficit without making people pay more. One idea they're considering is having state government employees take a furlough day every month. Basically, each worker would have 1 day off a month without pay. Governor Bob Ferguson suggested this as a possible solution. And there are other options on the table to lower spending. He wants state agencies to cut budgets by about 6% and four-year universities by 3%. Those proposals were due last month. The governor also wants to cut down on out-of-state and in-state traveling for government workers. And the state is still under that hiring freeze set in December, except for essential employees. Many local businesses are trying to navigate the tariff wars between the U.S. and other countries. That also goes for Costco, as the company looks at ways to keep costs down for shoppers. During a recent earnings call, Costco executives acknowledged that tariffs could eventually affect prices. But they also noted that only a third of its U.S. sales come from imports, with less than half of those from the affected countries. Costco has even asked Chinese suppliers to lower prices. While some members have noticed some higher prices, we spoke with shoppers who are not too concerned about the tariff situation for now.
If prices went up, I think that they would go up less at Costco than any place else. And we love Costco.
During this month's earnings call, Costco CEO Ron McCriss said, quote, "Given events over the last week, it is difficult to predict the impact of tariffs, but our team remains agile and our goal will be to minimize the impact of related cost increases to our members." Costco has been making other changes to increase revenue. In September, the company hiked the basic membership price for the first time since 2017. That went from $60 to $65. The cost of a premium membership increased from $120 to $130. The change affected about 52 million memberships total. The on-again and off-again 25% tariff on Mexican-made products has one industry already paying the price. Businesses are stockpiling tequila and mezcal because of all that uncertainty, which means it could affect your wallet. Exports of tequila from Mexico to the U.S. jumped 35% in January and then 25% in February compared to last year. Analysts say even if the tariffs are not imposed, the uncertainty has already cost the tequila sector money and could cause a temporary slowdown in the sales of the billion-dollar industry.
I mean, for us, it's going to be a straightforward thing. We either raise the prices or we take the hit.
President Trump is expected to make a final decision on the tariffs by April 2nd. In Pierce County, body camera video shows a gas station trashed, and this man you see sitting on the counter there apparently intoxicated, accused of causing the mess.
Not make it visible for the camera. They're not making it visible on purpose.
If you kick me, okay.
Body camera video shows the man getting arrested there, as well as the mess on the floor at the Chevron near Summit on Monday. By the time officers got there, an employee had already been assaulted, and a customer tried to hold the guy down. The suspect had also been pepper sprayed, and as you see, deputies did end up arresting him. A 63-year-old man is in jail right now after police say people found child pornography in the garbage outside his Seattle home. Seattle police say earlier this month, 2 homeless people were digging in the dumpster on Queen Anne Avenue North near John Street when they found 14 binders. They were all full of child pornography involving kids as young as 6 years old. SPD says they found evidence that the pictures belonged to Arthur Rickard. They say he admitted to molesting about 50 children dating back to when he was a teenager. Police arrested him, and his arraignment is set for April 7th. Police say they arrested a drug dealer in downtown Seattle. Officers say the Kirkland man had been commuting into the city to sell drugs. They caught him on March 19th and then got a warrant to search his home and his car. Inside, they found fentanyl, cocaine, and cash. Police say he was a frequent problem drug dealer in the Belltown area and have booked him on drug charges. Many of us have been there, the painful burning sensation after eating. GERD, which is short for gastroesophageal reflux disease, is best known as acid reflux. It's a chronic condition that affects about 20% of Americans. It happens most when you drink caffeine, alcohol, and eat fatty foods. When the acid bubbles up, symptoms can include heartburn, asthma, coughing, and chest pain. So when should a person be concerned?
This is tricky to know when to get an upper endoscopy, when you actually look to see what's going on. It can be some serious stuff, or most commonly, it's something that can be treated with medication, diet, and weight loss.
To prevent acid reflux, experts say avoid trigger foods like chocolate, mint, and spicy food. Don't eat in the hours leading up to bedtime. Take antacid medication and elevate your head in bed. A new sports bar is open in Austin, Texas to view March Madness games, but fans there will only be watching the women's tournament. The bar, named 1972, honors the year Title IX was enacted, which prohibits gender discrimination in educational programs, including sports. It is Austin's first women's sports bar that will only broadcast women's events.
We need to grow viewership. We need to show all, including men, that women's sports is entertaining.
Women's sports bars are expected to quadruple in the U.S. this year. And you might be familiar with Seattle's very own women's sports bar. Rough and Tumble opened in December of 2022 in Seattle's Ballard neighborhood. Their team is focused on the inclusion of women's sports and prioritizing women's sports on its screens. Big news coming from Seattle Mariners catcher Cal Raleigh. ESPN says the Mariners are finalizing a 6-year, $105 million contract extension